My name is Miriam Eliana Rosen. On April 14, 2023, I died while giving birth to my first child at Beth Israel Medical Center in Manhattan. I grew up in a traditional Jewish household in Teaneck, New Jersey, kosher kitchen, Hebrew school every Sunday, and family dinners every Friday night. I was a middle school history teacher, and my husband David and I had been married for just over 4 years. We had just moved into a little townhouse, filled it with books and baby clothes, and we were so excited to start our family. But during labor, everything unraveled. I hemorrhaged suddenly, and despite every effort from the doctors, I flatlined. I remember the exact moment my body gave out. First came an unbearable pressure in my chest. Then the noise of the room began to fade until there was nothing. No pain, no panic. I floated above the bed and watched everything as if I were watching a play. The nurses yelling, David shouting my name, and my blood spreading across the sheets. I should have been terrified, but I wasn't. There was this strange, still quiet, like the world had taken a breath and just held it. And then, just as suddenly, I felt myself being pulled, not up, not down, but through something. It felt like a curtain being swept aside, and on the other side was light, brighter than anything I'd ever seen, but not blinding, not painful. It felt like home. And then I saw him. Standing in front of me was someone I never, ever expected. Jesus. He didn't look like the man I'd seen in stained glass windows or Renaissance paintings. He looked at me with eyes so full of understanding and love that I instantly felt bare, like he knew every thought I'd ever had. I wanted to speak but didn't need to. Somehow he heard me anyway. But I'm Jewish, I thought. He smiled, soft and kind, and said, I know who you are, Miriam. I've always known. That sentence, it broke something in me. All the religious confusion, the doubts, the inherited fears, it just dissolved in his presence. He began to show me things, truths I never knew I needed to hear. He told me that no one group had it all right, that over the centuries, every religion had warped parts of his message. They used my name for control, he said, not love. His words weren't angry, just heavy with sorrow. I asked him about Judaism, about why my people had suffered so much, about the Holocaust. His eyes filled with grief. So much pain done in my name by those who never knew me, he said. I felt my spirit tremble, not from fear, but from the weight of a truth too big to ignore. Then he showed me something that I still have trouble explaining. We were no longer just standing in that place of light. We were moving, but not with steps. It was like thought carried us from one place to another. Suddenly, I was looking down at Jerusalem, but not the way I remembered it from photos or stories. It felt different, almost like I was watching a future version of the city. I saw violence, missiles flying, buildings crumbling, people screaming and running in fear. My heart ached at the sight of it. But then, without warning, the chaos gave way to peace. I saw people embracing, praying together, and children playing in the same streets that had just been torn by war. I looked at Jesus, confused. What is this? I asked. He said, this is what's coming, but not in the way people expect. I asked him about Israel, about its leaders, about what he thought of them. And I'll never forget what he said. The heart of Israel has strayed. They've looked to politics for salvation when they should have looked to me. Your leaders mean well, but they are led by pride, not purpose. He spoke about Benjamin Netanyahu, saying he believed he was protecting his people, but he was being driven more by fear and control than by divine wisdom. That hit me hard. I had grown up being told to support our leaders, to never question. But now, Jesus was asking me to see with new eyes. Then he showed me something else, something that honestly made me want to laugh out loud. I saw Donald Trump standing beside Israeli and Arab leaders, signing some kind of peace agreement. I looked at Jesus and said, "Seriously?" And he nodded. "Many mock this man, and rightly so in some ways," he said. "But I can use anyone, even someone flawed. Sometimes, especially someone flawed." I couldn't believe it. Jesus told me that Trump would have a second term, and that during that time, he would be part of something historic. Not because he understood God's plan, but because he was willing to break rules others wouldn't. It wasn't an endorsement. It was a reminder that God's plans don't always fit into the boxes we create. The visions didn't stop there. Jesus showed me a growing number of Jewish people, rabbis, IDF soldiers, mothers, teenagers, seeing him in dreams, beginning to question what they'd always believed. "The veil is lifting," he said. "Slowly, painfully, but surely." I saw people crying out, wrestling with truth, some rejecting what they saw, others stepping into a light they never thought they'd accept. "But won't that cause chaos?" I asked. He looked at me with such gentle authority and said, "New life always begins with pain. What matters is what comes next." Then he looked at me, and his face grew more serious. "Miriam," he said, "you've been chosen to witness this and to tell others." I felt my heart sink. "But I'm just a teacher," I said. "I'm nobody important. Who's going to believe me?" He stepped closer, placed his hand over my heart, and I felt a warmth rush through my entire being, like every wound, every doubt, every failure had just been washed away. "You are mine," he said. "That's all that matters. Your voice will reach the ones who are ready to hear it." Then he showed me my daughter, the baby I hadn't even held yet. She was healthy, crying in the arms of a nurse. David stood nearby, his face torn between fear and love. I watched them, and my chest ached with longing. I didn't want to leave this place, but I knew I had to. "There's one more thing," Jesus said, "and it's the most important part." The vision shifted again. I saw religious leaders, rabbis, priests, pastors, imams, sitting in a circle, not arguing, but actually listening to each other. It was a peaceful scene, almost unbelievable. "This is coming too," he told me. "A time when my people will stop fighting over who owns me and start living as I taught." I was speechless. He continued, "The walls between religions will begin to crumble. Not because they are destroyed, but because they are no longer needed. Love will do what tradition could not." I shook my head. "That seems impossible." And he smiled. "With man it is, but with God all things are possible." That's when he showed me the Temple Mount, and there, right in the heart of Jerusalem, stood a new temple. But it wasn't like anything I expected. It wasn't a place of blood or division. It was open, filled with light, and people of every background, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, stood there, praying together. "This will be the third temple," Jesus said. "Not for sacrifice, but for unity. A house of prayer for all nations." I was stunned. But how? With everything that's there now, the dome, the conflict, and he simply said, "There will be a solution no one has thought of yet. It will be my doing, not man's." I didn't understand it all, but something deep inside me knew it would happen, because I had seen it. The final vision he gave me was unlike anything I could have imagined. I saw the world shaking, literally and spiritually. There were natural disasters, floods, fires, and political turmoil across nations. But I also saw breakthroughs, new technologies coming out of Israel that would change how we survive in a warming world, discoveries in Jerusalem that would challenge the foundations of all three Abrahamic faiths. Jesus explained, "The world is entering birth pains. What feels like destruction is really preparation. What's coming will not be easy, but it is necessary." I asked him when this would all happen, and he said, "Some of it has already begun, but by 2030, nothing will be the same." Then his eyes locked onto mine. "There's something you need to warn them about." His tone shifted, still loving, but urgent. The greatest danger to humanity isn't climate change, or war, or even poverty. It's spiritual blindness. People think they're serving God, but they're only serving their own power and fear. They've wrapped my name in politics, hatred, and pride, and then wonder why they don't feel me. I felt the weight of his words pressing on my soul. "But they won't believe me," I said. "They'll say I'm crazy, religious leaders will twist it, and people will fight over it." He gently nodded. "Yes, they will. But truth always divides before it unites. And those who are ready to hear will." He showed me faces, dozens of them. People who would come across my story, some by accident, some in desperate search. He showed me a young rabbi in Tel Aviv, a Christian woman in Alabama, a Muslim student in France, a girl who called herself an atheist but wept when she heard his name. "They'll hear your words and remember me," Jesus said. "This isn't about proving anyone right or wrong. It's about waking up hearts." I wanted to stay. The love I felt in that place, I've never experienced anything like it on earth. "Please, let me stay," I whispered. "Let me stay with you." He looked at me, full of that same compassion, and said, "Heaven is your home, but your mission isn't finished." I didn't feel myself move. I was just suddenly being pulled, fast, painfully, back through that veil. The silence turned into sound again. The light turned into chaos. I gasped for air as my body returned to life, and I could hear machines beeping, people shouting, "She's back!" I later learned I had been dead for 9 minutes. No heartbeat, no brain activity. The doctors called it a miracle they couldn't explain. And as they brought my baby girl to me, warm and crying in my arms, I wept. We named her Eden, because that's what I saw. That's what I left behind. If you've made it this far, please don't scroll away. This story isn't just mine, it's for you. Whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, or don't know what you believe, I want you to know something. Jesus loves you. He hasn't forgotten you. And he's coming not to divide us, but to wake us up. If this testimony touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, watch Israel. Watch the world. Because what's coming will shock us all.